This month alone, at least 3 veterans have committed suicide at Veterans Affairs facilities.
AMVET says the deaths appear to be a protest of a system they say is failing to properly treat veterans. Our Washington, D.C. Bureau reporter Bree Jackson has new efforts from lawmakers to stop the crisis. Bree.
Good evening. Well, this is a troubling trend that we're seeing in states across the country. Now, veterans are losing hope, and officials that I spoke with say they're turning to suicide as a last resort, and they want Congress and federal agencies to do more to help protect veterans. The VA is meant to be a place veterans go for treatment, but recently they've become a place where vets go to harm themselves.
Walk into a clinic and shoot him or herself, or light him or herself on fire. What's going on?
Sherman Gillums with AMVET says recent suicides at VA facilities are drastic calls for help. The organization says Veterans Affairs, the Department of Defense, and other federal agencies must investigate the alarming trend and do more to help.
Combine those resources and figure out why this population is killing itself in the numbers that it has been.
Lawmakers admit existing methods aren't working, and they're willing to try new ways to prevent service members and veterans from committing suicide.
Too many veterans who are committing suicide. We have too many veterans that have mental health issues, and we also have this opioid problem.
Senator Shelley Moore Capito of West Virginia supports agrotherapy. Her state is among 10 sites nationwide picked for an alternative treatment pilot program. It uses agricultural resources such as crop production and planting to help veterans heal.
It's this circle of life, I think, that they find is very restorative to people.
And when it comes to the war against suicide, Gillums says veterans need all the support they can get.
To experience different things besides taking drugs, taking painkillers.
In addition, the Trump administration is proposing billions for suicide prevention efforts. Supporters hope it's enough to stop those who served from taking their own lives. And lawmakers are planning to have a hearing next week to take a closer look at the suicide epidemic.
Bree, I remember covering veteran suicides at Camp Lejeune back in the late 90s, and it is still a national problem some 20 years later. So what are lawmakers planning to do about this most recent surge in suicides at VA facilities?
Well, you made a good point. This has been going on for decades, and one of the problem is, or part of the problem is, there hasn't been a good tracking system to really look into this. And so members of Congress are proposing legislation that would require the VA to better track veteran suicides, in particular the veteran suicides that happen at VA facilities, and then report those suicides and suicide attempts to Congress. Lawmakers say this is a national crisis, and they need real solutions, and they need to better keep track of what's working and what's not.
Bree, you're exactly right. They need something that is going to work. Thanks so much. Bree Jackson live for us in D.C.
Covering news county by county, construction will force